Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Taylor Jones. And do you have any idea what time it is? You think I'm a sellout. Why? Is it because of how I dress and where I live? Or is it because I listen to Barry Manilow? I'm running the same race and jumping the same hurdles as you. So why are you tripping me up? Being black isn't what I'm trying to be because that's who I am. You told me that we black men need to stick together, but you don't even know what that means. So if you ask me, you're the real sellout. Now, what type of way is that to start off Cold Man's Winter without letting y'all know that I was quoting Carlton being called a sellout by a pledge leader that decides to hold his own and face the truth because Carlton, he really had something to say. And on that note, my name is Taylor Jones, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, TC Jones Edits. And this is the Black History episode of Cold Man's Winter, Season 3. So, for those that watched my recent video, the Cold Man's Winter, the part 2 of Safe Sex, the link will be in the description bar down below. And when it comes to thinking about Black history, even though I mentioned it last year, what I didn't mention was Sweet Ladies of the Week. But why does that matter? Being black is tough in the year 2022. B.H.M 2022 is going to be full of confusion, full of complications due to the fact that we brothers and sisters, we still don't get along with each other every now and then. We kill each other and it's getting out of hand, and also due to COVID for slowing us down, just like they slowed down Black History Month of last year. But we're not going to let that stop us, and we're not going to let that slow us down because we still got to represent black culture no matter what happens. Black fist raised in the air. Peace is all we need. I mean, we try to increase the peace for years, but it hasn't been like that for a while. So why struggle? I'll tell you why. Because most of the time people don't want to hear Black history throughout the entire month of February. I mean, whenever Black history is brought up, people get bored of it. Like, oh, when will this all be over with? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh. Well, keep your eyes open. Wake up because the teacher is talking. When you think of Black history, you think of King, X, Tubman, Truth, Anderson, Ali, Obama, Jordan, Jackson, all that, all of them real figures, modern figures that we all heard of and even forgot about, totally slept on, people that were like underground, never heard of, but they stayed true to their word. But what about real life people today? Black history, like individuals that we heard of today. For instance, my grandfather, Charles Taylor, a minister, Front Street Church of Christ for 36 years in the making. Not only that, he even became a bus driver, one of my bus drivers back in Milan Middle. Man, and even a teacher. He teaches both in school and at church. Teacher, preacher, bus driver, he can do it all. He never backed down. Charles Taylor is a good example. Followed by my father, Norris James Jones Jr. Some folks know him as Norris. I knew him mostly as James. like James Evans of Good Times. He's a mixture of John Amos and Wesley Snipes. Get out of line, he's about to get into it with you. So many regrets in my life, and all I could do is just get mad. But knowing that father figures always tell the truth, even if you don't agree with him, you got to realize that he ain't lying. He was one good reason why I thought of Black history, my father, as much as my granddaddy. But why would I talk about my father and give him recognition for Black History Month? Because when I was born, he admitted himself that when I was born, I made him turn his life around, get close to God. I mean, have we ever thought about recognizing our family figures, our family relatives? I thought about granddaddy, I thought about my dad, I thought about Olympia Pringle. Ever since I did an episode on her, like tell a story about her when it came to Fear, Cold Man's Winter Season 3, Fear, and how Olympia used to be teased to overcoming her fears thanks to her friend that I made up. The story was made up, but I wanted to feel real because Olympia Pringle, she's real. She is an author. She sings. Oh, she can do it all. A woman of God. I even thought about all the individuals that paved the way, whether from Illinois to Tennessee. I mean, it's hard to keep up with time, but with Black history, all things matter. All lives matter instead of just being a Black thing, because when it comes to Black history, it's more than a Black thing. It's an everyday thing. A lifetime thing. More than February. Heck, it's kind of like that in June, especially when Juneteenth arrives. Trying to make peace, trying to make a statement that black black life needs to be known, Black cultures. The Harlem Renaissance of the 20s to Jackie Robinson being the first baseball player, Black baseball player, to break barrier grounds, color barriers, when he played for the MLB, the Brooklyn Net. No, not Nets. That's basketball. Brooklyn Dodgers, until the Brooklyn Dodgers relocated to LA. So, and his number, jersey number 42, has never been worn by anybody else except for when they trying to honor him, honor his legacy and what he did. Even Dave Chappelle on the Chappelle show, he meant he mentioned what his grandmother told him. Son, when you try to do something, everybody's been the first person to do something. But let me tell you, don't be the first Black person to do anything. Because he was telling the truth. He was keeping it real, because when the first Black person did something, there's a lot of criticism, a lot of haterism, racism, you know, a lot of things can happen. But even in the new generation, 22, if you was the first Black person to do something, how would people take it? Even when you see it on social media like Facebook, would you put the heart emoji, the like, the thumbs up, or the as in, oh my goodness, the surprised emoji, like knowing that this is amazing news? I mean, we have a couple Black kids who has an IQ higher than you can hardly imagine. And we got a couple black kids who are already in college that didn't even reach 13 years old. Wow. Do you know how amazing that is? Do you know? And speaking of sweet ladies of the, and since I mentioned sweet ladies of the week, like I never mentioned it on the last year's episode about me talking about Black history, all of the sweet ladies that I've mentioned have been black. All of the sweet ladies that I've mentioned throughout my Cold Man's Winter season, Cold Man's Winter series from 1 to 3, they are all black. All black. Black women, black female individuals, family, acquaintances, people that I knew from school, even when it comes to working with them. All black women. It's like a good sign. I'm trying to give it up for the Nubian sisters, the black women, young and old, not ashamed to stay on top of things. You know? It makes perfect sense. Black history means so much to black people, but some of us black people, we consider it as a joke. We don't understand. Well, that's because you never learn about black history 100%. I mean, a lot of people, they don't understand how the society works. We black folks overcame hatred. Some of them some of them don't even understand. I mean, to be the first to do something, this was like a big deal, a catastrophe, a controversy. But nowadays we laugh at it, and like, man, it was wild. And even Paris, the rapper Paris from from the Bay Area, whether San Fran or Oakland, California, he's I look up to him like like he was his own cool, calm, and collected, like the calmer version of Ice Cube, but he yells in his rap sometimes. A revolutionary rapper, just like Chuck D. It's like when you look at black people from then to now and the accomplishments and the things we used to do, like chilling in the parks, just having a good time, and now murder, 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 kill, kill, kill. Paris had the right to make the song called Days of Old. I mean, after Tommy Boy released him because of his controversial album cover, or and the song Return, I mean, the attack of it's the Bush killer, because it's like threatening former US President George H.W. Bush. Paris decided to, you know what? Forget Tommy Boy. I'm gonna go and release it on my own. That's when he created his own record label, Scarface Records, which later turned into Gorilla Funk, Gorilla Funk Records. And I will quote, and I'm going to quote this song, Days of Old, and it goes like this. Reminiscing, back when I was only a child, back in the days when we were living, don't judge me, it's hard to keep up. It's not a tongue twister, but I will say it again. Start over from the top. Take two. Reminiscing, back when I was only a child, back in the days of living carefree lifestyles. As long as we weren't caught. Being bad was cool. And we was never at a loss for something to get into. Chilling in the neighborhood, down at the park. Sunny days when we played in the old school yards. Where kicking it live was a familiar scene. Kenny M and Big Gene know what I mean. Nowadays, it's changed. Life just ain't the same. Everybody's involved in a gang or a game. The game or a gang. And when we die, it seems like nobody cares. Ain't no love for the cold hearted stairs. thinking of payback or making a hit. Now, cowboys and Indians become real life. Now, life means nothing when the heart is cold. It ain't the same as the days are old. It's a unity thing. Much love for my people here. But what good is love if the people don't really care? The trigger's the pull at the OK Corral. And it ain't okay when my people live foul. Another sad case of the black on black. It's a fact. Some of our people don't know how to act. Can't go to the club, can't go to the store, can't chill with your girl, you can't go to the show, can't do anything without some dude acting up. You start to believe that all black folks are selfish. But before you do, allow me to say that in the old days we didn't act that way. You see, kings and queens were the names of the righteous, but the sons and slaves are insane, and we might just self-destruct and erupt without a chance to grow. This ain't the days of old. So I say, what will it take for us to change up? Some more of us dead, or more of us locked up, or maybe even more of us will blame the white man. But before we understand that the problem is not him. What I'm telling you is actual facts. I ain't pro-humans. I ain't pro-human because all humans ain't pro-black. Remember, in your mind, it can still exist. A plan to bring down the black fist. See, the struggle is uphill. Life's at a standstill. Jack Pop Jill. Now we don't act real. Now every living moment got to sing in the blues. The sole provider can't afford the baby shoes. That's the cycle so many of us go through. America's Black Holocaust continues. And I just hope we wake up soon before we fold. You know why? Because I miss the days of old. I too miss it. It's like we don't get along anymore. Can we all just get along? A lot of questions been asked. A lot of mistakes have been made. A lot of regrets have been filling up to the fact that we feel guilty that we want to kill ourselves. No, that's not the black way. That's not the black man's way. For a black man and black woman, we would have to come back to Jesus. Because without him, we would have made it this far. God's been with us for years. We never thought of leaning on his everlasting arms. He led us through. I was thankful to get involved with the Black History program in my high school. Singing leads, singing out loud in front of an audience ever since I did my solo of Wade in the Water. And shout out to Karita Carnes and Kara Kaiser, who also did the lead singing back in 2010. Milan High School Black History Month 2010. 2010, I'm sorry. Followed by Cordell McClurkin, who sung A Change Is Gonna Come, a cappella. I was still singing my heart out. I gotta nominate myself for trying to keep myself above high water. Try to stay afloat. When was the last time we black folks did that? Stevie Wonder would ask you, when was the last time that they heard you say, mother or father, son or daughter, sister or brother, darling or best friend, I love you. These 3 words. But when was the last time we walked together hand in hand? When was the last time that we heard ourselves say, we shall overcome, we shall overcome, we shall overcome someday? Deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome someday. Man. We'll walk hand in hand. We shall all be free. When was the last time we heard ourselves say, lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven rings? Ring into harmony of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. When was the last time we ever mentioned lift every voice and sing? When was the last time we ever wished for freedom? When was the last time we ever talked about Childish Gambino? Ever since he did This Is America. That's a perfect example of a black man trying to paint the picture of what's going on. I mean, everybody's starting to talk about it like they trying to be professors, teachers. I understand. When was the last time we ever heard from X Clan, Poor Righteous Teachers, Public Enemy? Consciousness of rap. What is the revolution? What is the answer? What is the solution that we got ourselves into? How can we overcome? Because we're black, there's a whole lot of answers, more than just one. And it takes more than Obama. It takes more than Tupac Shakur. It took more than KRS-One, Ice-T. It took more than Ice Cube, Paris, like I mentioned before. It took more than Gil Scott Heron. It took more than Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. Wait, did I say Martin? No, I didn't. But that's a start. It will take more than Charles Taylor. It take more than Norris James Jones Jr. It will take more than Melvin Hampton and Showbeck Death Row. It would take more than a preacher. It would take more than me, Taylor Jones, a YouTuber. It will take more than any black YouTuber you watch and pay attention to. It will take more than LeBron James and Allen Iverson and Magic Johnson and Shaquille O'Neal. It will take more than Michael Jordan. It will take more than the Jacksons, Randy, Tito, Jackie, Janet, Rebby. It will take more than Boys to Men. It will take more than Escape. It will take more than Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle, Cat Williams. It will take more than Venus and Serena Williams. It will take more. Nets. As I was saying, it will take more than who else? Oh yeah, Odell Beckham Jr. It will take more than Jerry Rice, Emmitt Smith. It will take more than Sammy Sosa. It'll take more than Barry Bonds. It will take more than everybody who's black, even when they had to be African, Jamaican. Black Lives Matter, but Black History Month, it matters more than that. So until then, like Smokey Robinson once said, as a poem, I love being black. I love being called black. Yeah, I said it, and I don't take it back. It takes more than the last poets. It takes more than the Watts prophets to do poetry, but in a black man's way, where you have to curse like a sailor. I don't want to do that, but I want to keep it real, because Black history matters. If I can mention a black woman as a sweet lady of the week, then it's more than a Black history thing. Because black women deserve recognition. But it takes a long time to be a queen. If you want to be a queen, you got to follow God's rules. Don't take God for granted. And that's exactly how we going to survive as black folks. We have to thank God first for putting us in a position that we have to move on. God expects us to succeed. Black folks, even when we have to deal with racism, even if we have to deal with other black folks that's laughing, ha ha, you ain't got jack. Because the people that's making fun of us, they end up as pimps. They end up as multi-platinum, selfish folks. I don't want to be selfish because I'm black. I'd rather see all black folks succeed in life. That's what I wish. So what's the deal? Well, it depends. Because how you see black history opposed to how I see it, it's a big deal. Black history is the number one thing that's been on a lot of people's minds, and that's why I feel like it's a privilege to talk about it once again, but not give up the fight. Get up, stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Bob Marley and the Wailers, which happens to be in, an inspiration to Big Boy when he started his verse on Get Up, Get Out, Get Something. Shout out to Outkast and Goody Mob for that song, that national anthem in the rap game, which should be part of black history. Because this is what they saying. You need to get up, get out, get something. It's more than an ATL thing. It's more than a Compton thing. It's more than Memphis. It's more than Chi-Town. It's more than H-Town, Houston, Texas. R.I.P. DJ Screw. It's more than Gary, Indiana. It's more than Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. It's more than meets the eye. It's a worldwide thing. Black history is here to stay, even if it has to be a 1 month. But black history matters all day, every day, more than just February, more than Juneteenth in June. Black history is here to stay. And all thanks to Carter Woodson, who came up with this idea, it's more than a 1 month thing. It is everyday life. And I'm thankful to give some examples from family to friends to all the real life individuals who made it happen. You know what I'm saying? And I got to give credit to myself too, because I'm part of black history. I don't know this, but I will. Because sooner or later, people are going to look up to me. Hear exactly what I'm saying. Just like all my subscribers. They the main reason why I decided to do this. Besides myself in general and black history alone, I want to make a difference. Because black history is always here to stay. And I mean this to all the people watching, viewers like you, thank you. Kind of like the old saying from PBS. Even though my YouTube videos was not sponsored by PBS, I mean, no need for corporation for public broadcasting. But as a way of saying, I'm still referencing it, by contributions to YouTube viewers from YouTube and other social media platforms, contributions from viewers like you. I thank you. I thank all of you for paying attention to me. And that's why I'm going to leave on this note. Because black history, man, you got to stop overlooking it. Because black history is all in the mind. It's all in the heart. It's all in the spirit. But without God, black history will not make it this far. Because he led us through doing the things that we used to do. From then to now. From kind of like Cat Williams when he went from, like, he imitated the slaves picking cotton and then flashed forward to the fact that we pick cotton and all of a sudden he skips forward, like flash forward to making a swish, like making a shot. Shout out to Cat Williams for that matter. But anyway, black history, man. 2022, what you gonna do? Will you stand up for black folks? Will you clench your fist in the air? Scream right on, power to the people? I would. What about you? You would do the same. With all that note, like, comment, share, and subscribe to my YouTube videos, my YouTube channel, and there'll be more in stores. And yes, since I didn't mention Sweet Lady from last year's Black History episode, I got one in mind for this year. And that goes out to Charlotte White. And to Charlotte White, if you're watching this, I had to put you in this list. Because Black History, it means so much that I had to add you. Because that's all that matters. Black History is here to stay, and that's all I have to say. Until then, this is yours truly, Taylor Jones, saying right on, and I'm signing out.